Hi everyone, it's Peter from PS Sound, and this is going to be an interesting video because it's back in Hungary, and we had great fun with our friends who came over from Slovakia in the last few days. We are terribly tired right now because we had crazy partying for a few nights, but I wanted to just quickly run around and show these cars to you because these cars are not your typical just purely sound quality builds. And I think you might have seen a few pictures of this Octavia before, which is also quite interesting for a few more reasons, because this is the car that I built A pillars for, and I'm gonna show that in better detail in a second. But these were the pillars that I built last December without the car, when we managed to make it happen in the way that I sent the rings to Oli. He positioned them while we were on the phone. I used just a little bit hot glue on it, just a little bit, just to make sure that they traveled safely back to UK. I built them, he got them trimmed, and here we are now. After we've done some crazy shit this week, we transformed the system, but we run through it, so we show you what he's got.
Let's show them.
Let's show them. Do you want to talk or you want me to talk? You can join in if I don't know something.
Yep.
So the system is running off the Zapco HDSP5, the 16 channel version, because you use how many channels currently?
I think it's 12. 12 or 14? Yeah, 14.
Yeah, quite many. It's a bit dark now. So he has a sound quality build as well as a sound quality loud setup in the car. The Zapco Z150.6 runs the sound quality front end, three-way front end with 4K Utopia M range, 8-inch mid bass, and the 3.5 and the TBE, TBM now it's called, TBM tweeter, but we will show it up front in a second. The big Zapco Z3KD, huge monoblock, runs these Helix Q12 subs. How big is the box?
I think it's 60 liters.
So roughly 30 liter for each, which is a little bit more than 1 cubic foot. And people know that I use these subs quite a lot too, because for the value they are bloody awesome, to be honest, for people who like it a little bit loud too, and they drop low, crazy low. I mean, you can do slight hair trick with them if you have a decent monoblock on them. Although you clamped it and they don't draw too much power on the low notes, do they?
Yes, it uses like 400 watts while playing 16 hertz, and it does like 138 decibels at 16 hertz.
Yeah, that's pretty capable. And when it may sound like a big number for a sound quality car on 16 hertz, because yes, if we play the car at like 47, then yeah, you can do above way above 140, and that's loud for a sound quality build. But because these subs are so musical in seals and they're so responsive to drop low as well, for the money, I don't think anything can beat it, to be fair. That's why I use them quite a lot. It's quite a shame because you had a 15 as well, didn't you? You still have the 15.
I had a 10-inch, then a 15-inch, and now these two 12s.
Two 12s. It would be nice to have another 15, but they discontinued it.
Yep.
And you can't get it anymore. So that's the SQ, 2 Zapcos with these subs, and the subs can run on different presets depending on what's required, because Oli has different presets for sound quality and sound quality loud. So the sound quality loud runs off the Steg 4 channel, right?
Yeah.
What does that do?
Stroke.
What does that run?
It runs the mid-range and the tweeters in the rear doors.
So I know. I think we had a video when we walked around your car last year, probably.
It's the same.
It's still the
Nothing
same.
changed.
Same door, 2 6.5s, right?
Yep.
And one of those tweeters, which actually sound pretty nice. We may demo it in a second. And then what's that tiny little 2-channel running?
That's running the rear fill.
Oh yes, because you have differential rear fill as well. We haven't showed in tiny little pods, which are, what drivers are these?
It's, I think, Steg MS30.
And that's perfectly enough for rear fill duties. So let's run to the front, because that's where the magic is right now. Because I've mentioned it many times that in these Octavias and in the Superb as well, Golf Mark V, they have this terrible design where they have the mid bass in the back of the door, literally hitting your hip, especially on driver's side, and acoustically in the car, that's a terrible location for a mid bass. And Ollie has gone through quite a progress in the last 2 years, because you changed a lot, didn't you?
Yeah, it started with a two-way focal Utopia set.
The old one.
Yep, got the old one, and yeah, I've changed everything, and it's mental.
And then he was upgrading slowly, step by step, yet spending big money on great equipment.
Yes.
We helped him a lot too, but when a few months ago he was telling me that, oh, I tried this cable, that cable, and I could hear a little bit difference here and there, and I'm like, yeah, it's all beautiful, but until you have a mid bass there, it doesn't matter. You have to sort out the mid bass, and then we have to do something about it. The kicks don't really have space for that, but I told to him that potentially when I'm back on holiday over here, and he's only what, an hour and a half away from me,
Yes, exactly.
then we could make it happen. So actually, if you want to see how we installed the Utopia 8-inch mid bass underneath the seats in true IB, then you can find it on Patreon, which will be dropped into description. You can find the link there, click on it, and then if you're subscribed to Patreon, if you appreciate all the effort that I put into all these videos to show and teach things, then you can see it there. It's quite funny because when we shared videos over there how it was built in true IB application, one of the guys in UK did it literally like 2 days later.
Yeah.
I haven't even showed those pictures to you, and he did the same with Micro Precision 5 Series mid bass through the floor, and he was like, Pete, this is fucking crazy. And yes, when you have the right driver for the application, it just transforms everything, because there's no rattles like you have from the door, even if it's heavily deadened. And then these are the pillars. These are the pillars that I built, and they got trimmed with Alcantara. I think he managed to find someone who could trim them, and they came out pretty nice. And that's roughly the view. That's the view of the front end. So he can run the HD player. He can also run the FiO M11 Pro, isn't it?
It's an M11.
Normal M11. And then we have the Bluetooth module as well for streaming. So it covers everything with the source options. And some people may hate me when I cut more and more cars. But honestly, whenever I do any other mid-bass solution but the door, it always transforms the system. When you have less cancellations in the frequency range where the mid-bass works in a three-way system in between like 50 up to 200-ish hertz, if the system is tuned right, it just transforms everything, because there's no rattle from there, nothing. People could say that, oh, you can feel it on your bum, but
no, you can't really. I was afraid as well.
Yeah, we deadened the driver's seat underneath because it's soft fabric and there's literally nothing underneath the seat, so the driver hits it direct. So we put deadening on that, but we didn't put anything on this because we wanted to see the difference, whether we can feel anything. And actually, you can't feel anything even on this side because the bass has enough space. I think we still have a good 5 inches above the driver underneath the seat. It's a bit too dark. Ollie, can you get your torch?
Yep.
And then we can show that a little bit better. So, you know, there's a lot of space over there. The carpet needed cutting around and trimming. Yes, it could be done a bit more beautiful, but that's just the cosmetics. That's something that can be done later. Yeah. But the fundamentals, the mounting, the weatherproofing, you know, just to make this driver safe and work properly, it's all been done, and it took us literally a day to fit it. Yes, I made the rings in the UK, I brought them back, but even if you don't have all the fancy tools and everything, you could literally make this install in 2 days, including everything. And We had no special tools. If you want to see how it was done, go on Patreon, guys, and then you can see it. And then honestly, if you have a driver that's good for IB application with a higher QTS, low FS.
This is the best solution with no rattles, because I struggled much with my doors.
Yeah.
And it just deadening over deadening, and nothing helped that much.
And you spend way more money, way more time on a door build, and it's still not great. Yes, you need mid-range drivers that can play down to 180, 200 hertz. In this application, we managed to cross them at 200, which is fairly high for an underseat location solution. Normally, I would cross it lower if the mid-range allows it, but we managed to tune it with a 200 hertz crossover point between mid and mid-bass, and you can't locate the mid-bass. Even if you turn it up, you don't really feel much wave coming underneath, from underneath, hitting your leg or anything like that. You would feel more tech type transfer if a mid-bass is in the door. You would feel way more on your leg, like in my Honda.
Yes.
You can feel the driver right next to your leg. In this car, you cannot even feel that.
And you are hearing it on the top of the dash in the center.
Yeah.
So it's completely transient.
So he has few presets here, and then when we have rear door, is that the preset rear door too?
Yes.
Then we can flick over to that. Do you have to flick the amp on?
Yes.
He has a switch at the back. And then we try to find something. So on this preset, the front is muted, and then he only has the rear subs and the rear doors playing, and it's a lot of fun. Trust me, we had 3 nights non-stop party till 2 a.m. The neighbors didn't like us. I can tell that. I'm just trying to find something in this playlist that sounds nice outside too, not going crazy because the neighbors had enough.
I can find something.
Fever. Is it the... what's that? Well, that's an acoustical music, but at least it will sound nice. I go over.
Never know how much I love you. I never know how much I care. But when you put your arms around me, I get a fever that's so hard to bear. You give me fever when you kiss me, a fever when you hold me tight. Fever in the morning.
Well, we could play a lot of music, but you get the idea.
The sun lights up the daytime.
But you get the idea what it's about. I don't think I will have time to demonstrate the front end. You had many demo videos I shared on YouTube. You can go to the playlist, which is called, I think maybe even like demo, something like that. Then you can find few cars. Well, it would sound just like any other phone recording, to be fair. I don't have my fancy Sennheiser mics that I could put in and then demo the front end, but trust me, this system is on a whole different level right now with that mid-bass installation. But before we cut this video, we go and show you another build. Because, yeah, we have a few interesting builds here. So this belongs to Ollie's friend, and he had quite a journey in the last 1 year as well. And this may freak out a few people, but basically this car is also a mixture of sound quality loud, a bit of a bass heavy system, as well as there's a bit of a sound quality touch to it as well now. So doors, obviously these are for sound quality louds. They even have competitions for that. They measure it from like what, 6 meters?
6 or 7.
6 or 7 meters, how loud you can go, but they don't judge how nice it sounds, does it? Do they? They don't judge it. Just go loud as fuck. but they have different categories for that. So I think this qualifies for a category like 2 mid-bass drivers with a tweeter. So they have categories where they have multiple drivers, you know, the whole door pack. That's a different story. But this setup sounds nice as well. We may show it in a second. But what was that? 2 8-inch Pride, whatever it is. Was the tweeter? Is that Pride as well?
Yes.
That's Pride as well. And with a different preset, the 8-inch drivers then just work as dedicated mid-bass with a low-pass filter. And then for normal daily driving, we have 2 widebands similar to Ollie's, but I think these are pretty much the same thing, but as far as I know, these are made by, well, labeled as audio system.
Yes.
And they sound pretty nice even without tweeters. Steg controller, streaming off the phone, and at the back we may need a torch for that because this is a very, very dark car. Here we go. Oh, we have lights. So at the back we have a pretty big sub. What is it, 15 or 18?
15.
It's only 15?
Yes.
You have lots of space for 18s here. Well, not with a box, because it's difficult to put a box into a saloon because that's limited by the size of the opening of the trunk. But actually we were talking about IB solutions if you didn't want to go crazy loud, because this box is pretty big. It's a ported box. The port is on that side at the back, ported to the side. So what does this sub do? What can we know about this setup? What RMS does this sub have?
2050.
But you give it, what, 4K?
Yes.
Okay. There's a lot of clean power from this ground zero monoblock with chunky big cables coming in. I think that's like dual 0 gauge running the sub, and it's quite a low tuned monster. What was the best chord that you had with this system?
I think it's around 148.
What frequency was it?
33.
Okay. 148. Yeah, that's more than loud enough for me, that's for sure. So that's the bass section, and that's tuned differently with different presets depending on whether it's sound quality for daily driving or crazy bass inside or doors open. So you can have different presets, and then you can make the system sound differently according to your requirements. There's a Steg 4-channel over there. What does that run?
The tweeters and full range.
Okay, and there's another amplifier hidden somewhere for the mid bass in the doors. So yeah, these cars are definitely more fun than just pure sound quality that most of the times people see from me from my channels. I also built a E92 BMW 3 Series coupe a few years ago, which was slightly similar. That was multifunctional, because honestly, all what we do with sound quality, it is beautiful when we drive long distances and it sounds nice inside, and most of the time it's a 1-seat tune. It's a bit selfish, but when you can do this, open the car and then enjoy music outside where you can make your friends happy, you can have a gathering, then yeah, that's more than anything any money can buy. We could say for anything else you have MasterCard, right? What's it? Could we play anything just on moderate level with the doors outside? If you could just stream something, let's see, without killing the neighbors. First day we came here, he was facing outside to the street at the back of the garden. He sent it full tilt pretty much. And then he didn't know that 2 houses down there's a pub and the police was parked there. So they came over straight away. They came in, oh, what's happening here? So yeah, they had to go at us. But to be fair, the neighbors handled it pretty well in the last few nights. Let's see.
Round
obviously when they play house music or drum and bass or whatever electronic that's pretty much designed for going crazy loud, then yeah, these systems are mental. The rear doors are flapping from the bass and screaming loud even from like 30 meters. But no, we are not going to do this now. I'm sure you can imagine it. There are many YouTube videos for flexing and whatnot and hair tricks. This car can definitely do hair tricks. But I thought to share these cars with you because this might be inspiration for you, and it gives you a different flip on, you know, what car audio is about. It's not just purely, you know, SPR, purely sound quality. It can be a mixture of both, and with DSPs you can truly create different presets easily, and then you just flick up a button and then the system is transformed into something else. I think I'm gonna cut it here because it's getting dark and late, and the guys want to shoot back home after getting drunk for many nights. We had awesome fun. I'm thinking whether I want to find time to edit this video and drop one of our party videos to the end of this. I'm not too sure about that because we were very, very silly, and you could see me going mental as well. People haven't seen me like that. I don't think so. You would love that for sure. We will see whether I find time for that, but I cut it here. Let me know what you think about it. Feel free to share it, spread the word, spread the love of car audio, and check out Patreon as I mentioned, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done that. And I'll see you in the next one. Take care. Hello guys, it's Peter from PS Sound.
Oda lépett hozzá a kísértő és így szólt.
Lemegni fogsz.